Brought to you by...
If you're enjoying the content here, please consider supporting us on Patreon or Tippy. Friends, for those of you who have not yet stumbled across the film in which we are about to discuss, I caution you to proceed no further. This is a film where going in any other context than as blindly as humanly possible will likely rob the piece of more than most of its emotional impact. Today, I look to shine the proverbial spotlight down into the murky depths of the well of sadness that comes with the loss of a young girl, and the reservoir of unspeakable secrets that she left behind, as we drown ourselves into the haunting void that is Lake Mungo, the documentary that never happened.
Something bad is gonna happen to me. It hasn't reached me yet, but it's on its way.
Following the tragic events of the drowning of a young girl named Alice, her family hires a parapsychologist whose investigation into the incidents unravel threads of a veil that Alice placed over her own life, and leads to the discovery of the dark secrets that she kept from everyone close to her. A quick history lesson. The term docu-horror is still a fairly new style of horror film. Call it a subgenre if you like. That first emerged with an anthology aptly titled Reality Check, an anthology of horror. Essentially, the term encompasses a growing subgenre that is part horror narrative and part documentary, in which narration, interview segments, and in cases like The Blair Witch, the protagonists weave together the plot into a highly immersive and easily believable narrative that presents itself as a depiction of real-life events. Not quite found footage, but not quite documentary either. Now that you are all back from class, I should probably explain that the interlude was necessary, and I should preface what is to come by stating that much of what is to follow is my personal opinion, and my opinion alone. Some may disagree with it, for it is my personal and unflinching belief that Lake Mungo is, at the very least, one of the only near-perfect embodiments of this subgenre, hitting every earmark of the documentary format while immersing you into a story so compelling that without prior knowledge, one could easily fall victim to the belief that the subject matter was authentic. This film fleshed out its ranks with a cast of relative unknowns, who to me delivered performances that were so utterly realistic that I genuinely considered the possibility that the filmmakers had incorporated real interview footage into the film and wove a story around it. The choice to place the film during a time of transition, sometime after the event in question, when the characters had reached an acceptance of their trauma and chose to move away from the house that reminds them of their loss, allowed the performers to mold what would otherwise have been a highly emotional showcase into something far more special, and in my opinion, harder to achieve. They each convey a hollow, almost emotionless tone while discussing the loss of Alice, which, when looked at in context of the time the film is placed, makes total sense. The true beauty of this performance lies within how deeply you look beneath the surface. You can almost see the pain that the subject matter still causes each of the family members. Behind each character's hollow eyes, giving the notion that the cold emptiness of their performances are just a facade that the family is putting up for the documentary crew. Combining these highly nuanced performances with a well-crafted and deeply woven narrative, riddled with more twists and turns than a tycoon coaster, that is told in such a simplistic retelling of events, backed up by what is meant to be segments of photographic and video evidence, and you get an incredibly moving and surprisingly powerful piece of cinema. Not bad for an independent film that released as part of a horror anthology event such as After Dark's Horror Fest. You may have noticed that up until this point, I haven't specifically delved into any major plot points or twists that the film takes, barring my brief plot description, and it's with good reason. This is a film that deserves to be seen and experienced for the small and often overlooked masterpiece that it is, not spoiled here on YouTube. If you couldn't have guessed by this point, this is a film that I absolutely loved and highly recommend that you seek out. It's a film that floored me back when I first watched it, and that I find new depth and meaning in each time I revisit it. The dismal and hauntingly chilling masterpiece of Lake Mungo gets a solid A+. Friends, I can't urge you strongly enough to give this film an honest chance. In an age where streaming services like Netflix have popularized the docudrama with such series as Making a Murderer, there couldn't be a more perfect time to venture back and discover a film that nailed home the aesthetic long before its time. For those of you who have seen this, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Or feel free to reach out to me over on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, where we can have more in-depth discussions about the film and be less likely to spoil it for others. If you enjoyed today's video, please feel free to let me know. It's just a quick scroll down there to that comment section below. If you're enjoying the channel more than words can describe, shoot me a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe. If you would like to show your support even more, come find ETF on Patreon or Tippy, where every pledge and every tip brings you rewards galore. Not to mention allowing me to bring you more films to explore. But all jokes and rhymes aside, if you have any films that you would like me to check out, or that you might like to see reviewed on this channel, feel free to reach out to me here down in the comments, or over on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And I will catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.